Pizza time.
Hey everybody, it's just me today. I just did this in that I just spent the last 20 minutes talking about this movie and this trailer, but I forgot to hit record because I'm an amateur. So I gotta do it again because I wanna talk about it and get it out there. But the last one was just pure unadulterated passion for dinosaurs because I'm an absolute dinosaur nerd. And now I have to try and think about the points I made again, and it's probably not going to be as natural. So here we go. I'm gonna imagine that we didn't have this conversation already, and I'm just gonna try and be just as natural as I was the first time. So I am a huge dinosaur nerd, and I've said this in all my other videos really so far, that I'm super excited for this film to come out. I'm like uber excited. There's so much coming out this year, and even with Multiverse of Madness and all the cool stuff that's going to be coming out in that, I'm probably in my soul the most excited for this movie. I love all things Jurassic franchise. I love all the movies. I think the second Jurassic World got way too much hate, which I'll make a video on one day. And I'm not a gamer. I'd like to be. I'm just not good at video games all that much. But I absolutely love Ark. I've played so much Ark because all I get to do is run around and mess with dinosaurs, and it's so cool. And I'm an adult person, which is kind of hard to tell with some of the things I'm surrounded by and the things that I spend my time talking about. But I'm an adult person, and when I went out grocery shopping for adult things, food, and instead I bought this Dilophosaurus model. It's a toy, but it's like a hefty toy. It can count as a model. It's very detailed and beautiful. And I think that's a perfect segue into my discussion on this movie coming out, because this is the first time since the first Jurassic Park movie that we get to see a Dilophosaurus on screen. I have not finished Camp Cretaceous. I don't know if they appear in Camp Cretaceous, so if maybe they do there. But as far as the movies are concerned, Dilophosaurus is the only dinosaur from the first Jurassic Park movie that we have not seen again on screen, except for in hologram form. In Jurassic World 1. But every other dinosaur we've met has come back again and again, has had a little moment, except for Dilophosaurus. And so I'm uber excited just for that. Did anyone say uber excited anymore? But I am. Just that Dilophosaurus is back. That's incredible on its own. And I'm excited for all the new dinosaurs. We got the Giganotosaurus. We've got the Quetzalcoatlus, the Therizinosaur, and all these other ones. Atrocioraptor. Pyroraptor. All this good stuff. And even more than that. So, I could go on and on and on about the stuff that I'm excited for, because there's a lot to be excited for, I think. And even if the film's not great, I know I'm gonna love it, which is not great from a critical point of view, but I'm not a professional critic, clearly. I just like talking about movies and dinosaurs, and this is a movie about dinosaurs, so what more could I ask for? But so in more detailed kind of thoughts here. The film itself looks super cool, just because we're getting the new stuff, we're getting new environments, we're getting dinosaurs out in the real world, and it's offering up a lot of interesting questions. We see now that we've seen in both trailers and this one that Blue has a baby, and it's going to be one of those life finds a way kind of things, reproducing asexually, which is all good and fine. But I feel like we see more dinosaurs running around in the wild than what we saw released at the end of Fallen Kingdom. There's a split second during that scene when the bad guy, what's his name, Mills or something, I don't know. But the main bad guy, he's hiding under a car, so we don't really get a good head count of all the dinosaurs that escaped from the Lockwood Estate. However, in the first trailer, we see a whole herd of Parasaurolophus, and I don't think they would have saved an entire herd. So I imagine that all of them, maybe, I think it's a good bet that all of them that are out in the wild are reproducing. And if they are engineered in a similar way to the Indominus Rex in the first Jurassic World, we hear that, it had to survive an accelerated growth rate, which meant they added cuttlefish genes, which gave it the ability to camouflage and blah, 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 blah. I don't think they all have superpowers like that. But I imagine Jurassic World as a company, as a theme park, they can't wait 10, 5, 15, however many years it would take for these dinosaurs to grow, so they probably all have an accelerated growth rate. I would think we see a little bit of that from the Ankylosaurus in Cretaceous, or Camp Cretaceous, I think. So that's interesting to think that the dinosaurs that are out there are out reproducing. They're all getting busy.
And got busy!
And they are growing faster than natural animals, faster than they would if they were all, not genetic hybrid theme park monsters. So that's interesting. So not only are dinosaurs out there, but they're an invasive species breeding at an unnatural rate and having a devastating effect on the food chain, which is really exciting. That does, in a way, kind of lead into my one possible concern for this movie, which is the number of dinosaurs. I'm afraid the film might be a little bit bloated because we can kind of consider the dinosaurs characters in a way, especially Blue and Rexy. But this film has our returning dinosaurs, which we kind of, we want to follow up on, see what's going on with them. And we have a bunch of new dinosaurs. We've got the Giganotosaurus, the Quetzalcoatlus, the two different kinds of raptors. We've got the Carnotaur and the Allosaur, which we've seen before, but we know they're like returning characters. We got to see what's going on with the Mosasaurus. We got to see what's going on with the sauropods that are out there, and so on and so forth. Like, where are all the pteranodons now? Like, there's a lot, but there's also something I'm probably setting up in my head, which is I'm imagining that all these new dinosaurs are going to have kind of like big roles, big moments, and it's very unlikely that all of them will, because there's so many of them. We know that the Giganotosaurus is going to have a moment. It's kind of the antagonist that's going to go up against the T-Rex. Quetzalcoatlus clearly has a sequence in the film. But like Therizinosaur, I think it's possible that might be almost like a cameo-esque role, just because there's so many other things that have to go on. Every dinosaur, almost every dinosaur we're going to meet might be something new, and we're going to meet a lot of them. And it's just meeting all the new ones, following up on the current ones, on top of our human characters, which we also have many of. We have our returning characters and our legacy characters, I guess we could say. And so there's a lot to keep up with there. So I don't know the runtime of the film. It's probably popping up on screen because I've Googled it later. But that's my biggest and really only concern, is that it's just going to be, there's either going to be too much going on, it's going to be the same thing over and over again, like we just keep meeting new dinosaurs, just every moment is something new, which isn't like, that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's kind of like what the Jurassic Park films are, is interacting with new dinosaurs. And that's kind of supports one of my points, is that each film kind of allowed a new dinosaur to have its own moment. The first one, we had our Dilophosaurus, our T-Rex, our Triceratops, our Velociraptor. The second one, we had more with the Stegosaurus. We had the Compies. We had more focus on the T-Rex. Well, not more focus, but we had more of the T-Rex. And then in 3, we got the Pteranodons. We got the Spinosaurus. Oh, I'm sorry. And then in the first one, we had Brachiosaurus, And then in Jurassic World, we had our Indominus Rex. We had more of a moment with Ankylosaurus. We had our kind of little moment with the Mosasaur. I got an intro to that. And even in the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, we get to the Baryonyx for the first time. We get to see Allosaurus kind of for the first time. We didn't really do anything, but it's there. And we get Stiggy Mullock kind of as a character interacting with Owen and helping out. This movie, I can't imagine it'll give every single dinosaur its own big moment because of how many there are. And I hope I'm wrong. I would love to think I'm wrong. But the other thing on top of this is the first Jurassic movie that has to worry about multiple locations. Everything has always been so contained for the most part, and it's all, changing location in the movie is really just one part of the island versus another. Now we have more to keep track of like where this dinosaur is over there in this part of the world, and these ones were sold over here in this part of the world. There's going to be a level of have to keep track of that we haven't had before. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, especially if they do it well. It's just something they haven't had to do before, so I think it's something to be aware of going in. I also have heard rumors here and there, of course, of dinosaurs that haven't appeared in the trailer. I've heard that maybe Spinosaurus might show up again. So, there's a lot that's going to be going on in this movie. And that's on top of whatever the heck the plot is, which I don't know, actually. We know that Owen and Claire are going to be going after Blue's baby to save her. We know that the world is going to have to be trying to figure out what to do with these dinosaurs. We know that Alan, Ellie, and Ian are brought in to deal with whatever the heck is going wrong. But I don't know at this point, this great big facility that they've got Henry Wu at, I imagine, where he's making all these new dinosaurs, because a lot of these new dinosaurs were dinosaurs that weren't in the park to begin with. The question has to be asked, why are they still making dinosaurs? Because it's no longer for the benefit of a theme park. You can't get military-esque use out of all of them. So it's interesting what's going on behind the scenes with whatever other companies have their fingers in the dinosaur game. But let's talk about that a little bit. Henry Wu, Alan Grant, Ian, Ellie, all of them returning characters, which is super exciting. I think it does make complete and total sense to bring Alan and Ellie back. With all this dinosaur mumbo jumbo going on, they would still be experts, I imagine. I really love the moment in both trailers, and this one especially, where the Giganotosaurus shows up and the rest of the gang don't know what it is, but Alan does.
What is that?
Biggest carnivore the world has ever seen.
Because I feel like at the end of 3, they put him through enough that I could have seen him giving up on dinosaurs entirely and just going full Luke Skywalker and having nothing to do with it anymore. And I'm glad that he hasn't. I mean, we see in the first trailer he's still digging up bones, classic style, we've been aware of Giganotosaurus scientifically for a long time. But I just like that, it's still, he's, still sharp as ever. He takes one look at it and he knows immediately. So I like that he's back. I don't quite know why Ian is back. I imagine of all things in this movie, that might be the most fan servicey of anything. But it's fan service I'm happy to accept. It's just, he wasn't a dino expert to begin with, and he really kind of isn't now. I think it made sense for him to testify or talk to whoever politicians at the end of the second movie as a perspective on whether or not they should allow the dinosaurs to die or to save them. It's like an ethical question, and he's a well-known scientist who had interacted with them. But as far as dealing with dinosaurs in all these new environments as they integrate into the ecosystem, I don't know how helpful he would be. I'm not opposed to it, of course, but I imagine he is there because we love him and we want to see him again. I'm interested to see as well what Henry Wu has been up to, because again, he's been making dinosaurs, he's been doing the scientific shady thing. However, he's rocking this new do, and I thought it was kind of reminiscent of Brent Spiner's character in Independence Day, in that wherever it is he is and whoever it is he's working for now, they're not letting him out as much. They've got him kind of under house arrest.
As you can imagine, they don't let us out much.
Or something, possibly. You know what I mean? Like, he's just in there working on dinosaurs day and night, trying to figure out how to perfect the Indoraptor or something. I don't know. That's just the vibe I kind of got. There's no indication of this at all anywhere, but I thought months ago that it would have been really cool if another character they brought back would have been Eric from Jurassic Park 3, because he is the only character who has actually lived among these creatures for an extended period of time. It might be different now. Again, I've not finished Camp Cretaceous. These kids seem to be stuck on the island living out their days there for a while. I don't know how long they were there. I'm ignoring that for now. Eric has lived among the dinosaurs for multiple weeks and had knowledge that even Alan didn't. We saw that in the third movie. So I think it would have been cool to have brought him back, and he would have been able to predict where some might go, what they might do, how they might interact amongst each other. That would have been something interesting that I would have liked to see, but I'm not losing any sleep over the fact I'm not losing any sleep over whether or not they do include him. The other thing that I'm now thinking about when it comes to this movie is how it's going to end. I heard, I think maybe last year at one point, this is just the last Jurassic franchise movie, but it won't be like the last movie or show within this world. I don't know for sure. I don't remember who or where I heard that. So let's just say for the sake that this is meant to be the last film. There's a lot to follow up on, which again goes back to my point about it being a little bloated. There's a lot, because I can see it ending in one of three ways, and there's probably other ways that I just haven't considered. One is they somehow recapture all the dinosaurs and take them somewhere, and they live out in harmony or whatever, which I think is very unlikely. Two, they integrate into the ecosystem somehow, and we just kind of end up living among dinosaurs, even though it's not what Ian Malcolm wants, and it's probably going to be a very difficult transition, but it's what ends up happening in this weird, interesting, scientific, poetic, philosophical idea of dinosaurs being brought back and us living among them. Or we kill them all, which would be very dark and dreary and depressing, and I can't see them doing it, but that would be the most realistic thing to do, is to just kill them all. And that's honestly the most unrealistic part of the whole franchise in this world where they brought back dinosaurs and made two failing theme parks out of it, is that we as a species did not immediately kill the Tyrannosaurus Rex as soon as it broke out twice. It's ridiculous that didn't happen in the second Jurassic Park. It's ridiculous that it hasn't happened yet to the Tyrannosaurus Rex at the end of Fallen Kingdom, and thus into this movie. Not that I'm advocating for that, but we all know that's what would happen. But what makes me think more than anything that the ending will be them, just the dinosaurs that is, integrating into the environment, the ecosystem, and the food chain, is in this trailer we see for a second the Quetzalcoatlus, what looks like the Quetzalcoatlus, making a nest at the top of a skyscraper. And the Quetzalcoatlus is not a species of dinosaur that was on either park, as far as I know, and it was not a member of the dinosaurs that was saved from Jurassic World and thus brought back to the Lockwood Estate and then broke out with the rest of the dinosaurs. Like I said, there was a bit of a moment where we don't see all the dinosaurs that escaped, so I could be wrong, but I don't think it was included. I'm like 99% sure the Quetzalcoatlus was not on either island in any capacity. Maybe on Isla Sorna out in the wild, but I don't know. But my point is, I don't think it was part of the horde of dinosaurs that escaped at the end of Fallen Kingdom, which means if it's a part of this new scientific facility and it gets out, it would take some time for it to develop, to make a little nest on top of this building, which means that scene can't be from early in the film if the Quetzalcoatlus doesn't come into it until later in the movie, which means that scene is a part of the ending. It's just integrated. It's just a part of things now. You're on your way to work and you see Quetzalcoatlus up there and hope you're not its lunch. That is the most the biggest piece of evidence, I think, for that's how this film will end, is that it's just a Jurassic World. We just all get to live among the dinosaurs. Now the dinosaurs get to live among us, which is interesting. However, I do think it's possible that one of our returning legacy characters will die, or the T-Rex will die, as a way to end the series. But at the same time, because we had that glimpse into the past, we see the T-Rex killed by the Giganotosaurus, and that's meant to be the same T-Rex that's been cloned and brought back. And I can't really imagine they would do that twice, you know what I mean? The poetic justice is that the T-Rex will probably kill the Giganotosaurus somehow or get help from one of the other dinosaurs. But I still think whether or not the Giganotosaurus does it, the T-Rex will die in one capacity or another as a way to end the series of films. I do think it's also very possible that Ian Malcolm will die. I don't think they'll kill off Alan or Ellie, but I think they'll kill off Ian. Which, not that I want that, of course, but Ian was actually supposed to die in the first movie. It was Jeff Goldblum's idea to just make it so that he was injured because he didn't want to go out doing nothing. He suggested maybe he does something to help save the kids. So that's why all that happened. So I think it's possible they'll kill him off as a way to, you know, a gut-wrenching death, but also a way to kind of reference what was supposed to happen in the first film. So, you know, I just think that's very likely. I just can't see them killing Alan. I just can't. He's the Jurassic Park guy. But yeah, that was kind of like a word vomit moment. I'm just so excited for this movie, and I had to record this again, so I was trying to make sure I remembered all my points, and I can't wait for it. I just can't. I love dinosaurs so much. It's such a classic little kid nerdy thing, and I've never grown out of it, and I never will. But yeah, if you liked this video, consider liking the video. If you have thoughts or theories or a question or anything else that you want to add to this conversation I'd love to be having, consider commenting if you feel so inclined. And while I don't have a whole lot on the channel yet, my roommate and I don't have a whole lot to put out there just yet, so we don't have a big reason to encourage subscribing, but consider subscribing, because for every subscriber we get on this channel, I'm doing a little drawing and putting it on this great big banner, so it's kind of like a collaboration project between me and you. So you get to see yourself kind of represented as a little doodle in this banner, and when it's all full, I'm going to print it out, which will be really cool, and you'll be able to look at it and know that you kind of influenced this. You somehow generated one of these little characters. So, you know, consider it. And I'll see everybody next time when we talk about some other nerdy thing. So, have a good day.
Pizza time.